big conversation for James Gunn's Superman has been its box office. Will it succeed? Will it not? And well, we finally got the box office numbers for its opening weekend, the final ones. And well, I don't know, they might surprise you. So let's get right into this. So, from this tweet, it says that Superman exceeds projections and officially made $220 million at the global box office. So, right there, we'll start with that $220 million. Yesterday, they're kind of like they're kind of like early-ish numbers, I guess. They weren't final, but they were close to final. And they were pretty much reporting that the opening weekend box office was going to be $217 million worldwide and global, so both domestic and international. And 2017 was like, okay, that's still pretty good. Like, this is still good. Especially when you consider the fact that there's a lot of brain damage. So the fact that they can even make it over, honestly, even in the 200s is pretty impressive, to be honest, because Superman especially, oh man. There's been quite, it's pretty divisive to say the least, but if we're even just talking about even more like general, even more grander overview, DC, just as a whole, it's been the gutters. Okay, let's be honest. The brand reputation has not been good. A lot of mistakes were made, and James Gunn has to pretty much deal with that on top of creating, setting this whole new universe up. So he's technically doing like 2-in-1 things. He has to get the reputation back and all that. And anyways, $220 million is really good. And yeah, like I said, it's $217 million, what they were saying yesterday, but the final numbers came at $220 million. So it over-exceeded. It surpassed what it was being projected, because deadline is saying $217 million, and the final number is $220. So technically, it did over-exceed by $3 million. So that's pretty good still. And if you're wondering, the budget is $225 million. So essentially, within the opening weekend, they pretty much just recovered their budget for the movie. And I know there's been debate, oh no, the budget's actually $363 million. I can't really speak to that. I'm not too sure. I was going based off of what's being reported now, because I know like that whole sheet, that whole like where they filmed, they have to. I know what you're talking about. I've seen that for like months now, but I'm just gonna go based off of this official number. I can't really talk about the other one. I really don't know much about it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just saying I'm aware of that. But based off of this one's being reported, $225 million, they pretty much just recovered their entire budget opening weekend, which is great. And then, so another thing, so like by next, it's pretty much done right there. Okay. That is easily right there, recovered. Next thing, marketing. A lot of movies also especially ones that are pricey, like Mission Impossible, you put the it need like 600 million, I think, or something ridiculous. Did it need 600 million? No, more. It need like 800 million or something, I think. Something ridiculous to recover, because its production was like 400, 500 million. And then its marketing was also like 200 million. So something insane. F1 as well, I think, has a pretty steep price tag for its production and marketing. So yeah, it's pretty tough. A lot of movies nowadays. But I feel like the 225 million, just them recovering that alone is good. And on top of that, they only spent $100 million on marketing, which is kind of insane, because me personally, I literally couldn't go anywhere without seeing this. You see this on TV, especially how they had how they tied it into like their partnership with I guess TNT or the NBA. Like they had David and I remember Nicholas looking at the Larry O'Brien stuff, going to games. I'm pretty sure, like just I could literally everywhere I looked, it was there. And especially in the last like month or two, like right around the time we got the final trailer for Superman. Oh man, the marketing went absolutely crazy. It took James Gunn was not trolling when he said it's gonna take we're gonna up this. It went insane. But only 100 million is that's pretty standard. 100 million, I'd say, for a movie this size. I feel like that would be like the minimum for this. I thought it would have been 200 million, because I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm like, it seems like they put even more money into it than usual for marketing. But it turns out no, it's only 100 million, which is honestly great. So if you want to put the marketing into the budget, combine them both, because I know some people like to do that. I occasionally do as well, depending on how steep the price tag is. It'd be 325 million, my bad. So they've already made pretty much back the production budget, and then they're going to do the marketing. So if you want to include that as well. The main thing is, will this movie have legs? We don't really know, to be honest. It's pretty early to say. I think domestically it'll have legs, but internationally I'm not too sure, because I'm looking here from this tweet. Let me just get this up real quick, because I had it here. But yeah, domestically the movie's doing pretty well, and it's still a win, because like it says here, domestically 125 million debut outgrossed the entire runs of Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, which made 124 24.5 million, which is pretty crazy, for itself. I do not remember Aquaman 2 making that much. I love that movie. Literally, I mean, it did flop. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, it did flop. I think, but it's still a pretty good opening weekend. I don't know if that was in part to do with overseas, maybe China, because I'm pretty sure China, they loved the first Aquaman movie. That's what helped to get $1 billion. And that kind of goes to my next one. Internationally, so if it's 125 million domestically, that's about 100 million then internationally, which is still pretty good. By no means, this movie's doing better than I don't know. This movie, honestly, could have went pretty bad. So getting 200 million worldwide is great, but still, I'm just a little, I guess, worried or skeptical about the legs for, I guess, the international market, because I don't know. I feel like 100 million is good, but it's not the greatest. If we're talking about that, and from what I've seen and the little bit I read and stuff and what I heard, it's not doing that well in China, if I recall right. I might be wrong about that. Let me know. Correct me in the comment section down below. I think it could have been doing better internationally. So I feel like that's the factor. And domestically, I think it's got great legs. It's about internationally, which I'm just kind of skeptical about. We'll see. But yeah, The Flash, 108 million domestically. What else was there? Blue Beetle, 72.5 domestically. What else was there? Shazam Fury Gods, 57.6 domestically. And you're seeing a lot of these, all these are pretty much the ones that were ever since James Gunn took over the DCU. These are the DCU ones pretty much. And then also Blue Beetle's coming, in here. But you get what I mean. So these had already a whole bunch of stuff going off them, going bad. And Superman had 125 million. So it pretty much just narrowly beats Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, which is, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of insane, to be honest. I don't know how Aquaman did that good. But anyways, besides the point. It's still good considering the fact that there's been a lot of brain damage, like I said. And also, another thing we need to factor in, Warner Brothers, their goal is 500 million worldwide. So they already got 225 million. So that literally leaves them pretty much exactly a halfway point. So including their marketing, like I said, that would be 325 million then. And then, 500 million. So another, what is that? 325, 425. 150, I think. My math might be wrong there. Look, something like that. But they only get like I said, if they just get the same amount, pretty much if this make what they made opening weekend, but over the next 3 weeks, I'd say that's a safe amount. I think they'll pretty easily do that. Even what I'm seeing, it's supposed to be, I think next week's box office weekend, it's supposed to only have a 50% drop off, which is really good for comic book movies. Okay, just put in context for Marvel, they usually have 60 to 80%. Even especially recently, their movies have been doing pretty bad. A lot of them, I think Marvel's had the worst one. That one had an 80% drop off, which is insane. They're usually very front loaded, right? But Superman here, it seemed like it's gonna have legs, because if it's gonna have a 50% drop off, that's a pretty good sign that's gonna have legs. Like I said, just about international market, which I'm skeptical about. But hopefully it works. And also, the Discount Tuesday is going up tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. I think a lot of people are going to go then, because also it's just pricey stuff. But we've seen that even though it is pricey, if the movie is really good, if it's really worth it, people will show out still. We saw Deadpool Wolverine, that's a prime example. If the movie is really good, and which the movie has good word of mouth, which is going to help it with legs as well. It has all the, I think it has all the signs, all the stuff you want for it to have good legs. It's just kind of, like I said, it's just the international market, which I'm kind of just worried about. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Another thing, like I said, need 500 million. They're almost there. If they get another, it's pretty simple. They're not even trying to I guess anything over 325 million is profit, right? If you want to include the marketing as well, anything over that's profit. And they're only trying to get 500 million, which is pretty, honestly, lower than you'd think, if we're being honest. Which is it's not a crazy amount. But they're probably factoring in all these things, DC, all these other things happened in the past, which would affect them now. So 500 million, I think they'll pass that pretty easily. It's about afterwards what's gonna happen. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, if it hits 700 million, that's a huge win. But I think that's looking more unlikely, to be honest. 600 million, I think it's still in the cards. I think they were saying 500 to 650 million, or maybe a little bit higher. From 500, but still, I think 650 million is the high end that they could hit still. who knows? But overall, like the movie's good though, so that's all that really matters, right? And yeah, like I feel this is pretty good, to be honest. We'll see like what happens with this, but yeah, let me know what you think down below. I think the box office is pretty good for this movie, to be honest, especially for all the circumstances. 500 million is the goal. They're gonna surpass that, I say, pretty easily in word of mouth. Yeah, it's gonna have legs, it looks like, including all the other stuff I talked about in this video. Yeah, let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.